Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the cut to length webinar from Ponsse side. Very good to have you all here. My name is Marko Mattila, and I am from Finland. I take care of the sales marketing service for Ponsse globally. Very nice to have you all here. And of course, firstly, I have to also say that Mr. Pekka Ruuskanen unfortunately cannot participate or join this webinar. He feels very much under the weather at the moment. He's sick, so he's very sorry about that. But we will try to manage without him. And then just one practical thing is that please write your questions to the Q&A, and please put your name also there. So there is very nice prizes for some people there. So please be active. Okay, but I will start going through a very simple presentation about the Ponsse company first, and then Mr. Antti Räsänen will be continuing. But I have a few slides about the Ponsse company overall. And I hope that this is now going forward. One second. There we go. So Ponsse is forest machine company, and we are concentrating on sales, service, manufacturing, and technology related to cut-to-length forest machines and services. So we are one of the leading companies in the world in this business segment, and actually we are in top 2 manufacturers in the world with the John Deere on this business. But we are the only one actually from the big players that is totally 100% only focused on the forest machines. So this is very important point. So we don't have any other business segments like construction equipment or anything like that. So we are totally 100% in forestry. And also one big thing, of course, is that our company, we are a stock exchange company. We are listed in a Helsinki stock exchange, but majority of the shares, over 60% of the shares, is owned by a Wikgren family. So we are very much family company also, and this is of course something that it makes us a bit different than anybody else in this business. So we are quite fast, low hierarchy, and we are very close to the customers. So this is very important for us. And here's a picture of the Wikgren boys in Finland, the biggest owners of the Ponsse company. And our values, very shortly, these are very important for us. It's honesty, it's innovation, it's Ponsse spirit, and working close to the customers and staying close with the customers. So this is very important. This is what we are very excited about every day, and it's very big part of ourselves. And we want to be the preferred partner in our industry. This is very clear. And this is the global playground where we are playing. So we are in over 40 countries, and we do have a few dots missing actually from USA here. But I have a couple of slides about a couple of our newest dealers in down south in USA. And this is the slide. So very nice to have a stronger network in USA for us. So Equipment Link and Night Forestry. So these companies, they have been starting to work with us very strongly there in down south. So very much welcome to the Ponsse team for you guys. And this is actually our network here in USA, and here you can see a little bit about where we have the distribution at the moment, our sales guys, our dealers. So please contact always to our people if you need some good machines and services for the forestry use. Okay, so a little bit about the Ponsse. And a little picture from the Finland, from our factory. So this is the landscape, how it is in Vieremä village, and here is our factory, and we have about 600 people working here, and we manufacture pretty much over 6 units per day, so we can manufacture way over 1,000 units machines per year. And also when you think about the loose harvester heads and our own harvester heads, our capacity can be close to 1,000 actually when we consider all the harvester heads that we are manufacturing to our harvesters, but also to the excavators and the track harvesters in the world. And one big thing is that in Ponsse is that we do manufacture a big part of the machine ourselves in-house, and then of course we do have some suppliers in Finland, but also in Central Europe, like in Germany, for example, and that we are working with. But we do make a big part of the machine ourselves, and this is very, very important for us. Here is some pictures about our factory, and we are very proud about the factory, and we have been investing a lot to this also in the past few years, as well as we have been investing a lot to our service network globally. So this is very important for us that we are very strong in service, but then also we want to be sure that we are very strong in technology and so that we can make very good reliable machines to our customers' use. Here is some pictures. Like I said, we do make a big part of the machine in-house, and for example, all the frames of the machines and cranes and harvester heads and these kind of a big parts of the machine we make ourselves. And after robot welding, all these components, they are machined, and so that the quality is extremely good for the customers' use in the world. Then a little bit about the cut to length machines and the market globally. And here, this is a little chart about how the volumes go, and we can see that the trend has been so that the total market for CTL machines has been growing, and the trend is like that. We can see that also for the future. Of course, this year we have a little gap, a little drop here because of this pandemic situation in the world. But overall, we can see that this wheeled CTL machines are growing, and Mr. Antti Räsänen will soon tell a little bit more about why is that. And then I will not start to go through these too deeply, but just to give you kind of an idea what kind of products we have and we are selling, and of course from the harvester side we have our product models start from 6-wheel beaver for the thinning sides, and then all the way to the bear harvester, 8-wheel bear harvester for the very demanding clear fellings. So we do have a very, very good product portfolio with the harvesters. Same thing with the forwarders. So from the Vicent forwarder, from the 12-ton forwarder all the way to the 20-ton Elephant King, and also the Buffalo Dual is there for our one of our products there. And with the harvester heads, like I said, we do manufacture many of these heads per year, close to 1,000, and we have a very good product portfolio with the heads, starting from the H5 and all the way to the H10 head, and the newest ones are H9 and H8 HD versions in our product portfolio. Of course, very important thing is that we don't only make the machines, and we are very strongly providing services, and this kind of a service agreements have been becoming more and more popular in the world in many markets during last few years, and this is the trend. We want to still push forward with this one, and our customers that have been selecting this active care service agreements, they have been very happy because they can really be focused on the operation and production, and we take care of the rest. Okay, so this is what we really believe in, and we have been making the best forest machines in the world since 1970, and this is what we still want to continue doing very strongly together with our customers, and this is our strong focus. And with these words, I would like to give stage to Mr. Antti Räsänen, our training manager, who will talk more about the cut to length. So please, Antti, go ahead.
Thank you, Marko. I will share my presentation before I before I start. So I hope everybody can see now the Ponsse CTL page. First of all, it's of course unfortunate that we cannot see face to face and have those good discussions we've had with many people, especially in North America during the years about the CTL, and it's been really exciting and interesting to see the development that's happened through the years. In my eyes anyway, the past, let's say 10 years have been really rapid growing in many areas of the States for CTL and for Ponsse obviously also. In my presentation I will explain and show some things, how the CTL works as like a rough idea of what it means, and then some benefits. There's efficiency, adaptability, environmental friendliness, ergonomics and comfort, and that kind of issues. I will not go too deeply into anything, but have a brief introduction of these topics. Generally speaking, the CTL has been growing quite well in the past times throughout through the world in all the areas. Here you can see a graph from different parts of the world. Europe, especially Northern Europe, has been really strongly CTL for a long time. Russia has grown really rapidly in the past times. South America also, and North America, there's still a lot of full tree length method happening, also some manual harvesting in many areas. But it seems that the CTL is growing strongly and surely also in that area. Here's some of the figures. For example, Canada from 1990 till 2014. You can see that the change has been really tremendous in favor of CTL compared to the conventional, or the I would almost like to say old-fashioned way, full tree method or tree length method. And in Russia, in the lower graph, from 2005 to 2016, so only 11 years, and you could say it's turned completely to CTL. And that's huge change. You can imagine, if you understand like sawmilling, wood industry in general, that means a lot of investments, a lot of changes happening in the whole chain. But there are certain reasons why this has been happening and why so many companies, so many people have chosen to go to CTL. But briefly about the method. Basically, the basic idea, timber is processed in the forest according to the intended use. I think that's the core idea of CTL. So right away, when we touch it the first time, we fell it and we process it directly to the right products. Harvester goes in, it fells, delimbs, measures, and optimizes and bucks. And this happens to every tree individually. We optimize what products should be taken out of this particular tree of this species and size classes and qualities. And this is probably the most important thing in the method in general, because that brings the best value for every single individual tree, and also the ability to control very closely what is being done. Secondly, harvester is followed by a forwarder that transports each timber grade, each product, to separate pile on the roadside, on the landing site, or whatever you want to call it. And then trucks deliver the logs to different mills directly. So saw logs go to sawmill, plywood logs go directly to plywood mill, pulpwood goes to pulp mill. There's typically no mixed loads unless it's necessary and needed. So basically everything is optimized all the way from the stump when we fell the tree, when we touch it the first time with the machine. We touch it minimum times, we process it right away to the right qualities, right products, according to the market needs. That's the basic principle. In the CTL machines, in the Ponsse machines, we have a quite sophisticated, actually, computer system. This doesn't mean that it's complicated for the user. It's actually quite easy because the computer system is pre-programmed to do everything. It measures, it optimizes. So operator basically moves the harvester head, fells and processes the trees, follows the suggestions done by the computer. So it's quite simple, quite straightforward, but it still gives a possibility to control bucking really effectively and precisely. You can of course do only one product also if that is a need, but the possibilities are there. So for example, if in the beginning you have only 1, 2, 3 products that you are making, but maybe by time there's need to and possibility to optimize your working and your production. So there's a lot of possibilities with the CTL. And of course, all this gives the maximum value for both the raw material, but also for the work that you do in the forest. So we are optimizing the value of every single tree and every single movement of the machine, so to say. And of course, the main purpose, the final target, is to make more money out of the trees that we have available for the landowner, for the machine owner, and for the mills. One benefit of the CTL is that it's a secure method in terms of utilization rate. So there's been calculations, studies done that with to reach, first of all, to reach roughly the similar production as one tree length method chain, that would be feller buncher, skidder, and 2 processors. We typically use 2 chains of harvester and forwarder, 4 machines. But the security of the method is that if one, for example, harvester stops, you still have the other one working. So the whole chain doesn't stop. If feller buncher stops, everything stops. So that's a difference of the security and utilization rate of the 2 methods. It's a cost-effective method also. Compared to tree length, we need a little bit fewer machines. We need significantly fewer people to run the operation, and also significantly less fuel to run the operation. And this is something that many people say that the full tree method or tree length method is much more effective. Well, a feller buncher does a lot of work per hour, per day, per month. Skidder pulls a lot of trees, especially in a short distance. But if we compare, if you go back to the previous page, we can put 4 equal amount of machines and produce the same with the CTL and still have all the benefits with the same production rate. It's also a safer way to work. It is, I would dare to say that it's the safest method and way of working in the logging business. Forestry and harvesting is considered to be a tough and dangerous work. I think everybody accepts that. But of course, the manual logging, that's the most risky, most dangerous, and there's still a lot of that happening in the world. But then in the other end of the scale, there's CTL machines. We have really comfortable machines. You're driving relatively slowly. You have air conditioning, really safe cabin with all the comforts that there can be. So really ergonomic, comfortable, and safe work environment. And this has been changing as the CTL is progressing in the world, growing. Also the amount of accidents have been decreasing through the years. One thing of the CTL is it's environmentally friendly, and that's whether or not you are interested in this aspect. But in the markets, more and more through the world, this is one issue that's growing of importance, that if you want to sell your products, it's like a marketing aspect, marketing factor, that it's sustainably produced product, whatever it might be, sawn timber or paper or plywood or whatever, or energy wood. And we have benefits in CTL. One is because of the thinning operation and the CTL process in general, even in clear cuts, the risk of forest fire is lower. In well-managed forest, we are thinning them, we are taking away the dead wood, the bad quality wood. We are also making it less dense. So all this eases or lowers the risk of forest fire. One thing is also that when we are processing the trees in the forest, we are delimbing them, we are taking the tops off. We are leaving the nutrients, the leaves, the needles, limbs, tops in the forest. So they are nutrient for the new growth of the remaining forest or the next generation. Also, one thing in that the CTL method, it eliminates overlap and unnecessary steps. So like I said earlier, we are optimizing everything. We are optimizing the utilization of the raw material. We are optimizing the work. Every step that we take is with the purpose. It's fully like as effective as it can be. And that's obviously one thing that is environmental issue. It's also economic issue. I already mentioned comfort. Really super comfortable office for the operator is what we have in the Ponsse machines. We have actually made a couple of big projects through the past 10 years or so of developing the best possible working environment for the operator, starting with all the interiors of the cabin, location of all the switches and controls and so on, going through the joystick design, how everything works, visibility, stability of the machine and so on. There's a lot of things that affect in comfortability, ergonomics of the operator, and actually that's also a really important thing again for the economics, because when you have operator who doesn't get tired, who's fresh, he remains focused for the day, and he's producing better quality and more timber every single day. There's been a lot of feedback from customers and loggers all over the world saying that they have learned eventually that when they have good machine for their operators, through the weeks, months, years, they seem to get more timber, more work done. And that's because the operators are healthier, they don't get tired. Basically, they stay motivated when the environment for them is good. Control systems, computer systems, like I mentioned, it's really carefree. The operator doesn't have to be a computer scientist to learn to use it. It's really straightforward, just a couple of clicks and you're doing the job. Spacious cabins with air conditioning and the most ergonomic control joysticks in the market. So when the operator has a good, ergonomic, comfortable environment, he's motivated and he's productive and he does a good job. That's the basic line of it. Make the most out of it. We have really high developed automation system in harvesters, also in forwarders. So one big benefit is that we are maximizing the yield of the work of the wood and minimizing the waste. We can actually even utilize the branches and treetops. I will show a picture later about the biomass harvesting. So you can take pretty much everything, if you like, effectively. The machines are really suitable for many different kinds of applications. You can go to hills, mountains, soft grounds, wet areas, no matter what kind of weather or season or terrain you have. It's always effective and you can work. And then one big benefit and difference is that CTL enables high quality forest management through selective thinning. And this is important. With the thinning, when you do it the right way, you can significantly increase profitability of the forest management. You can grow more trees, you can grow higher quality trees, bigger trees. And actually you can also get some money in the middle of the growth cycle. When you do the thinning, you get some timber out of there. So selective thinning, that's a big possibility in many kinds of environments. One thing is plantation forests, where you plant the trees quite densely, and then the growth is really poor unless you do the thinning in the right and timely manner. Then you get better growth, you get higher quality timber, more frequent income, and also reduced fire risk. And now I took a picture. This was actually in Facebook just, was it this week, early this week or end of last week, somewhere from North America. There was a comparison of 17-year-old trees. The small one that's been from a forest without thinning, and the big one from the one that's been thinned. So it gets more space for growing, it gets more nutrients, more water, more sunlight. And it makes huge difference. This is obviously just one picture from somewhere, but this is the reality that we are seeing all over the world. And obviously with the full tree method or tree length method, this is impossible. You cannot do this. It's either manual or CTL. Optimization of every tree I mentioned in the beginning. So the computer system, we can send or make the instructions in the machine, in the harvester. They can be pre-done at the office of sawmill company or logging company, and then sent to the machine by email with a USB stick or whichever method you want to use. And then the computer system optimizes the trees. So sawmill can order, okay, we have a market for this and that kind of product, and to get the best profit out of the trees, we need this and that length and diameter classes. And then you send that information to the machine, and it tries to reach that from the trees that are available. And that gives huge possibilities to optimize and get better money, more money out of the trees that you have available. One thing that's the part of the flexibility of the CTL method is slope harvesting. We can go to very challenging, very varying terrains with the CTL method, and even the steepest grounds where you can operate. We use the winch that you can see here in the backside of the harvester. I will change the laser pointer. So this component here, and then the wire, steel wire, that you hook up on a stump or a standing tree up the hill, and then you can, it's called tethered harvesting. You're basically tethering with the steel rope. It gives you stability and very good traction, and basically with a very small footprint or soil disturbance, you can go to extremely steep slopes and work effectively. And there's a similar winch to forwarder also, so you can retract the logs with a forwarder from the slopes. And apart from this winch, that's a detachable winch. This is just normal, conventional, standard CTL machine that we are using. So no need to invest into any special applications. Just mount the winch on, and there you go. Here's a picture of a forwarder in a slope. It doesn't have the winch, but it would be here under the load inside the rear frame, and then hook the wire up. But even without the winch, the CTL machines, they have a really low point of gravity, very good balance, typically 8-wheel machines, and then you can utilize or use tracks to have even better stability and of course very good traction. Winch if needed, if you go to extremely steep grounds, but many areas you can work even without the winch. And then with the same machines you can go to soft grounds or deep snow or whatever other environments you might have. And here as an example, you can see that very minor footprint, very soft touch on the ground, especially when you go with the tethered system. It gives you very good traction. It's synchronized to the driving speed, so when the wheels turn, the winch turns, and it's always giving you that support. I've heard that in the west coast of the US, in areas with the variable terrains, the cost for insurance of tree length method might be 7 times higher than CTL because of the safety and the steadiness of the equipment and the work. That's obviously huge difference and benefit. Soft, wet, snowy, sensitive, you name it, we got it. There's basically, of course, selection of the machine, model, size, class, type is one thing, but typically it's 8 wheels and you can fit different kinds of tracks. For example, in this picture is a high flotation tracks. It's pretty much like excavator tracks, and it's gained really big popularity here in Scandinavia because we have a lot of soft lands, wet peatlands, and there you need high flotation for the machines. And this is one option, one solution to that kind of need. You can go to very soft, very wet areas and still do very effective logging. And again, with the same machine, you can go to hard, solid ground, steep hills, deep snow. If needed, you can change the tracks to different kinds of models, but that's all. And then biomass, like I mentioned, the same equipment can be effectively used for recovering biomass also. It might be at the same time you're producing sawn timber, pulpwood, and also collect the branches and tops, or it can be separate work site where you have small trees that you collect all of them for bioenergy. But you can do all that with the same machine, and again, you can go to the slopes, to the soft grounds, wherever you need with the same equipment. There is certain optional equipment that you can use for biomass retraction. For example, variable load space, that you can extend the bunks to both sides to have more capacity, more space in the load area for the biomass, because it's lighter in weight than normal logs. You can have a specific grapple for biomass, but you can also work with the normal log grapple. It's not a problem. And then there's even further special adaptations. We have a 10-wheel option for forwarder for extremely soft ground. So we have 3 wheels on both sides under the rear frame, under the load space, and then put suitable tracks, high flotation tracks. And basically you can go to softer lands than where a man can walk. And that's a proven fact. There's been cases where a guy jumps out of the cabin and sinks like more than knee deep in the swamp, while the machine is still floating nicely on the top. Another option, we have actually a factory option for clam bunk for some special applications where you can pull out full trees from the forest again with the same machine, with a cut to length machine. You can switch back to normal forwarder load space and then put this big clam bunk in. And actually that's really effective way, especially on the longer hauling distances compared to normal skidder, because with the forwarder, clam bunk forwarder, you can haul really huge loads of logs at the same time. So it takes a little bit more time to load it. You're loading it with the grapple, with a loader, but the capacity, the carrying capacity is very big. So that gives you big advantage on a longer distances. Okay, thank you for this part of the show. I don't know if there's any questions in the Q&A. Let's see. Okay, maximum distance of the tethered system, typically 300 meters, so that's like 1,000 feet. 300 meters, 300 yards, let's put it this way, it's easier to convert. Okay, Marcelo is asking about the clam bunk. I've seen some in North America, I'm not sure where at this moment. The picture was from British Columbia, and in Russia there are some clam bunk forwarders working also. How steep a grade is at maximum, that's depending on many things, I would say, but not 100% or 45-degree angle, but somewhere, I would say 40 degrees, 35 degrees, typically. We're not saying any maximum angle or promising where you can go. Basically, technically, engine oil intake, for example, or oil circulation works in 45-degree angle, but basically it's case by case, depending on the soil and all kind of different factors where you can actually operate. Okay, so that's about the presentation and the CTL theory. I think we might start to watch the machines working. So we have a live demo, but with this COVID situation, obviously through the video streaming. We have working Cobra and Bison. Cobra is the new harvester introduced a couple of years ago, and Bison is the completely new older. Bison is owned by our customer in Annapolis, Michigan. It's the second Bison in the US. Customers are very happy with it. So 200-hour service was done just yesterday in Bangladesh. Cobra is still in our online. Perhaps really good harvest. Demo side is a mix of hard they will be rolling terrain as in the field. Been previously did now here. Owned by a local airport. Currently remaining fish farm. 8-wheel machines. It's been raining 3 days. We wait. Okay, here starts the Bison. I think I lost the line earlier a little bit, but I was explaining about the site and the machine. So this is a mixed hardwood job site. It's been thinned earlier, and it's actually owned by the local airport. So they're clearing it for the approachway. It's been raining 3 days in this area, so it's really wet, really soft. But as you can see, there's no problem with these machines. 8 wheels, suitable tracks, and they work just nicely. The Cobra, the harvester that was working earlier, that's actually available. It's Rhinelander at the Rhinelander shop. The Cobra is the latest harvester model introduced a couple of years ago. Really good all-round harvester for various purposes. If you have really heavy work, big heavy trees, hardwood and so on, then Ergo is a good choice. It has a lot of power, big output. But if it's not extreme, then Cobra is a really good, safe choice. Really effective machine. Big work pump, 210 cc work pump, a lot of oil flow. So really good choice. And structure and basic layout is basically like an Ergo. So everybody knows the technology and it's really good. Also resale value, we can expect that it's a really good, there's a good demand for it all over the world after years also. And then the Bison, the forwarder that you saw a minute ago, that's really a special machine. That's totally new technology. I would say that's like a Scorpion of forwarders in a way, if you know the Scorpion harvester that we introduced in 2013. This is same kind of difference, same kind of leap in technology for forwarders. So instead of the normal hydrostatic driveline that is used in forest machines, in the Bison we are using a CVT transmission, constantly variable transmission. So it's a mix of hydrostatic and mechanic drive transmission in one gearbox with a varying gear ratio, and majority of the power is transmitted by a mechanic gear system rather than the hydrostatic. So all this gives you freedom of driving speed, so you can go all the way to the maximum speed, about 15 miles per hour, 14 miles per hour, without stopping to switch gears. So it has a lot of pulling power on a slow speed, and as you keep pressing the gas down, you get more and more speed all the way to the maximum. And this enables you to drive really fast with the loaded machine in the terrain, in the forest. And of course, that brings more logs to the roadside every day, giving you better efficiency, better productivity. Other benefits in the Bison is that it's always with active frame, so the cabin is leveled sideways. This is basically something that we chose to be a standard feature because only then you can utilize the higher driving speed. It's significantly faster driving speed that the CVT gives. But without the active frame, it would be really uncomfortable for the operator. You cannot sit upright in the cab. You're jumping left and right when you're driving in the terrain. So active frame gives a superior comfortability in the cab. And then third thing is a totally special, totally different work hydraulics. We have 2 separate working pumps, and they are connected to the CVT drive unit, not directly to the engine. So engine is running on constant RPMs, no matter the driving speed, by the way. So it's always on the constant RPMs. And the work pumps, they have elevated gear ratio, so they are turning a lot faster than the diesel engine. And there's 2 pumps and 2 valve blocks, and the functions are divided so that one pump is feeding certain functions and the other one is feeding the other ones. Very good efficiency. And what the operators are saying that it's really, really precise to operate the loader and the grapple. And it has a lot of power and really good precision. So that's another big specialty about the Bison. And I have to say, all over the world, the customers who have tested the Bison or bought it are really super happy. There's been many cases where they order another one pretty soon when they get the first one. It just gives you so much benefits compared to the traditional forwarder technology. Okay, there was one question about predicting stem curve above harvester head in optimization. Basically, so like I said earlier, we are optimizing every single tree, and it's done so that the computer in the harvester has a memory. There's a stem bank, as we call it, and there's a certain amount of diameter curves of each and every tree species that we are processing, and it's comparing the beginning of the tree, the butt end of the tree when you start processing. It's comparing it to the stem bank, takes the closest matches, and counts a predicted tapering curve, diameter curve for that tree, and that's the way it does it. And it saves into memory every tree that you process, so it's learning tree by tree to do it better when the trees are different in different areas. Okay, if there's no other questions, maybe Marko wants to have a few words still.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Antti and the whole Ponsse USA team. Thank you for the great demonstration also there, live demonstration of what is happening there. So this is very good. I suppose from my point of view, I would like to just say that thank you for all for participating in this webinar, and if you still have some questions, now is still some time, or of course you can also ask your questions from the closest dealer or Ponsse shop, wherever you are located at. I think at least we do have some people from Thailand and from Brazil and from many places, but of course most of the people looks like are from USA side. But is there any other questions here at the moment that we have not answered? There's a question about, is Ponsse actively seeking to educate the mills in the US as to the benefits of CTL and the advantages of using the process at the logging stage? Well, of course, our US crew would be much better to answer that, but traditionally we have been working a lot also with the mills and with the companies, and we are always ready to give our expertise on the cut to length logging. So we have been traditionally working a lot also in this kind of places. And do we still have something here? I think this is pretty much it. There's no more open questions. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, our team, and thank you all the participants. And I hope to see you all somewhere. And safe travels. Stay safe in during these times, and stay strong. Thank you very much, everybody.